There's a new lawsuit on the desk of the Northern District Court of California, and it is going to matter to everybody. Everybody that plans to be employed, that is. Do you mind? Oh, that is a big bird. That's a no for me. So I'm just going to tell you all about this from the comfort of my home and the safety of my bedroom. Workday is being sued specifically for their AI job screening tool. Okay, so I'm nerding out only because whatever comes out of this lawsuit is going to impact HR and companies in general. So here's the tea. So Workday is a software, and they provide solutions for companies regarding finance, HR, planning, and spend management. They use a lot of AI tools, that's artificial intelligence. I've talked about that on here regarding resumes. So with these AI tools, they help companies screen specifically, I'm talking specifically to the recruitment piece because that's what's being sued here. When they screen the resumes, they're picking up keywords and then they're able to pass it along right to the actual person that is hiring and lets them know like, hey, this is a good pick. That's the most basic way that I can describe that. Now the lawsuit is being brought forward by a candidate who claims that he applied to 80 to 100 jobs in 2018. And he is claiming that he didn't get any kind of notification or any kind of callback from any of those jobs because of his race, his age, and his disability. Now, the court documents say all of this in case you want to look it up, but despite him having the experience and the education that is required for these jobs, again, he didn't hear back from them. So he's claiming that Workday is discriminating against him because of these specific federal protected classes. Now, this is straight from the court documents. They're claiming that Workday tools are relying on subjective practices, which result against candidates who are specifically African American, over the age of 40, and have disabilities. Now, the plaintiff is claiming that Workday's AI screening tools and their system in general rely on algorithms that are created by people, whether they are consciously being biased or unconsciously being biased. Okay, so this is huge because there are so many companies that use softwares like this when it comes to recruitment. So if the plaintiff is able to prove that this discrimination did take place, well, obviously Workday is going to lose a lot of its clients, and a lot of companies are also going to realize that they are taking on a huge risk when they are using these kind of softwares that have these AI tools. I don't know what's to come of it. I'm actually really excited to see what is to come of it. This may set the precedent for what the workforce is going to look like. So I'm going to monitor this and keep y'all posted on what happens.
Are AI hiring tools discriminatory based on race, age, or disability? There is a new class action lawsuit against Workday that makes exactly this claim. So I don't know how Workday's tools specifically work, but let me explain in general how bias can make its way into AI hiring tools. So one important thing to remember is that AI cannot magically know who makes a good job candidate. It has to be based on something. And what is a very logical thing for future hiring decisions to be based on? Past hiring decisions. So in a very simplistic sense, if you've got a stack of resumes of people that you hired in the past and a stack of resumes of people you didn't hire in the past, hello, very smart computer. Which one of these stacks does this resume look more like? And this is a very clear example of what we mean when we talk about human bias making its way into AI systems. For example, there have been decades of resume audit studies. So for example, this study showed that even if they have identical resumes, Lakeisha and Jamal were much less likely to get callbacks than Emily and Greg. But what if you just take race data out of the data set, you ask? Well, there are a lot of things that could be proxies for race or gender. For example, as with the plaintiff in this case, attending Morehouse College, or being in the women in STEM group or competing in high school wrestling. But it's not necessarily even that obvious. Many of these kinds of algorithms are black boxes. We don't even know exactly why they're making the decisions that they are. And these features can be very subtle. And this is why AI audits are so important. And if Workday really is, as their website claims, one of the world's most ethical companies, then they must have been doing these kinds of audits and would know for certain whether their tools are biased.
Have you heard of the Workday lawsuit? How can AI be biased? Because a lot of people think that it's a computer, it can't be biased. Well, that's not exactly true. And I'm going to just try and explain a little bit about how, unfortunately, some AI algorithms can actually end up being biased. So right here we have company A. This is just the land of shapes. So we're just going to be talking about an AI algorithm that is designed for two different companies and how that could potentially show up as biased. So company A, this is what all the employees of company A look like. So that's what their AI model is training off of. Their AI model is looking at all the current employees and saying, okay, we have 78% white squares, 44% circles, 33% triangles, 22% squares, 22% non-white shapes, 11% black shapes, and 11% shaded shapes. This is a good example of, like, you can think of it as maybe a candidate pool even. So this is what all of the current employees look like. This is what their AI is training their candidate pool to look like. So when someone applies and the recruiters get a message saying, this is someone you should interview because there's certain qualities, different kinds of distinctions based off of their current employees, that the AI tool is saying this new candidate matches. Now let's look at this other company. So company B. Company B is actually 67% non-white shapes, 33% white shapes, 33% circles, 33% squares, 33% black shapes, 22% shaded shapes, 22% triangles, and 11% stars. Okay? So this is a much more diverse employee group or candidate pool. And this is what this AI is being trained off of. So if you have a candidate who is applying, the AI is going to use the information that is already trained off of to decide whether or not that is going to be a no or a yes moving forward. There's a lot more complexities to how AI models are built, but one of the biggest things is looking at the data set. And so that's going to be what's key in this lawsuit is, if this person is claiming that there's discrimination, that should be found. It should be relevant when you look at the data set. What was the AI model being trained off of? So in this instance, if the company that this person is applying for, if they are a black star and they have no black stars, they don't even have any stars in here, that AI tool is going to spit out and say, this person doesn't look like they're a good fit.
So now that I've explained it, what do you think about the lawsuit?